I just got done watching the final episode of The Boys, the season finale, and I gotta say, as a millennial myself, I just have to apologize because this writing has been some of the worst I've ever seen in my entire life. Everybody knows the term millennial writing, and it is a somewhat accurate verbiage to use, I think, but in this case, it's not, because I looked up the ages, and most of these people are like over 50 years old. I know Eric Kripke himself is born in 1974, so that dude's like 52. But the trend of these popular with millennial shows, I think that's kind of what it denotes a little bit more, is that this writing is popular with my generation, which, again, I am so sorry. But this show might have one of the worst, especially this season, might have some of the worst writing I've ever seen in my entire life. And most of it is the dialogue, but in general, it's just really uninspired, and the ending was just horrific. So I was going to actually record some more stuff for my usual content, the kind of video game stuff, but I mean, this is one of the main, which we don't have a lot of them, but this is one of the main cultural events happening right now. So I think covering something topical like this would actually be useful, because at my age, I've actually gone through a lot of the cultural milestones. Like, I was there in the heat of all the Game of Thrones stuff, and that one had a way worse ending, but again, this is just like, it was painful to watch. I honestly don't even know why I was watching it. I think me and my wife just like watching train wrecks, I guess. It's kind of our thing. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I was going to make this video a little bit earlier because I had a general feeling, everyone had the same feeling as me, I'm not being original here, that we all knew that the end episode would be terrible, and it turned out to be that. And it's kind of funny because the main complaint I have with this show is that every single character, without any kind of exception, they're all written by like the same person. They all have like the same dialogue. And it's very interesting because these people who wrote the dialogue, it's like, you know, I'm sure someone will make it one day, but yeah, someone's going to make like a rewrite of this and use ChatGPT or something like that. And it's like, it's going to have very similar dialogue. That's literally the way it feels. Again, I'm not the first to say this, but it's like insanely cringe. Like this entire season, every death I saw in this episode especially, like, I mean, who felt anything when Frenchie was killed? Nobody felt anything at all. And again, I mean, I gotta keep hammering on the dialogue, but like Kimiko is just so bad. I'm pretty sure what happened is probably her agent or something decided or was able to negotiate that, oh, it's the final season, and if you want my star back, well, she better be able to talk. And it's just like, talk about a monkey's paw, man. And why does Kimiko sound like it's some kind of dub over? Like it's some kind of weird kung fu movie back in the day where they would dub it over in English? It just sounds very strange. It looks weird too. Like it doesn't really sync up to the sound. It almost reminds me of like MXC or Kung Pao Into the Fist, if you've seen that.
Oh, wow. Your skin is so oily, like hugging a McRib.
Did you just... How?
Fucking speech therapy and fucking therapy and so much fucking TikTok. Because all you can say is oi, 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 cunt, cunt, cunt.
Like the better with a mouth shut.
You disgust me.
It's easily one of the most unaesthetic thing I've ever heard. And then, of course, the visuals of everything. I mean, Starlight's face is the general monkey in the room. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Like, her face looks like it's a different actress every single time she's on screen. It's very distracting. And it's honestly concerning. Like, nobody's really trying to bully her. I think most of us are just worried about her. She needs to get help. Honestly, it's gone too far. And I really got to talk a little bit about Sister Sage because that is one of the worst characters I've ever seen written in fiction. At least Kimiko was tolerable before she became a little ball of cringe. But it's funny because you hear these kind of sayings when you're watching stuff online or reading books or something. And one of the common sayings is that a character is only as smart as their writer. And that's one of the huge issues with the show. And it's really, the epitome of that is definitely Sister Sage. But in general, the boys, and I've, like I said, never read the comics, but I know generally how it ends. And, but the boys in general, why do they have powers at all? You know, if this is a better written show, it'd be much more interesting if it was literally everyone is underpowered or unpowered, and they have to figure out how to take down evil Superman without using powers. That's a lot more interesting than what we got. But Sister Sage is not intelligent. You know, there's plenty of videos that they're talking about how stupid she is, but it's just, it's really offensive to us as viewers having to sit there and listen to her. And then when she gets unpowered, she's not just normal, she's like an actual retard.
You see, I just realized that I have 2 ears, so it's a waste to only listen to one thing.
Let me get this straight. You just realized that you have 2 ears?
Taking a pill is not going to make you smarter, Charlie.
I don't know about that, Frank. I've listened to 5 books on tape already this morning. 5.
Trust me, if you're feeling any smarter, it's just a classic case of the
placebo effect. I considered that, but I don't think that's it, Dennis.
Whatever, you don't even know what the word placebo...
Placebo means, from the Latin placebo, meaning I shall please. I listened to a chapter on that this morning.
It's very weird. It's actually kind of embarrassing because the writers have obviously never met, talked to, or been around actual intelligent people before. And putting that up into like the stratosphere as far as like super intelligence in a corporate setting where brute force isn't exactly useful, honestly. You know, if you're like punching your way around Amazon, not going to get you very far. But if you had super intelligence, that's easily, you know, that is the wet dream for any corporation. You know, in ideal, Vought would be obsessed with Sister Sage. She would basically be their superwoman or their Superman. Instead, they portray her as like this weird lazy person, and it is also funny because it's very amateurish when every time she's talking or whatever, every scene she's in, she's eating something. And it's hilarious because everybody knows that that's basically a way people kind of shortcut making someone interesting or seem smart. Oh, they're eating something, they don't care enough, but they have this wicked plan. I mean, what is your plan? What is Sister Sage's plan?
Might I inquire, what is the evil council's plan? It is evil. It is so evil. It is a bad, bad plan that will hurt many people that are good. I think it's great because it's so bad.
I mean, her motivation was dumb as hell. She basically had the most millennial motivation I've ever heard. Watch the world burn so you can read your book. I mean, if you're smart, why don't you just, like I said, you already have a bunker. How is your bunker not enough isolation for you need to have everybody die on the planet? Absolutely insane. But yeah, instead of actually giving us a realistic portrayal of what hyper-intelligence would look like, we just get somebody who read the script, someone who's omniscient. And it's funny because even the omniscient characters, they're all so stupid. You know, Bran the Broken. Of course, his writing is terrible too. I mean, these guys all going to the same school? I mean, they probably are, to be honest. The true mark of intelligence, if you're like actually seeing people who are really smart, they just know the basics really well. They have a hunger for knowledge, which means they always want to be pursuing it. And then the biggest thing is they just are able to solve problems. They're not omniscient. They can kind of use pattern recognition. That's kind of one of the issues with AI is because a lot of intelligence is literally just noticing and predicting stuff based on patterns. Well, Sister Sage never does that. She just read the script. So either way, I mean, I guess I would put Sister Sage as my least favorite, where, yeah, Kimiko is definitely up there, but like I said, at least she had, you know, really good stuff in the first couple seasons. She was a somewhat endearing character while she kept her mouth shut. And then Huey's is really funny because he generally, yeah, I always thought he was going to be kind of somewhat the tech guy, and he kind of is in the first season, which makes sense, that is the best season. But I guess his ultimate dream was him and his girlfriend, they get an abortion, and then they have a kid, and then they open up a Radio Shack. It's just, what an absolutely ridiculous way of doing it. What a ridiculous way of ending his story.
Let me know if you see a Radio Shack.
I think the only real ending that I actually liked is probably Terror, because, I mean, he's a cute dog, you know? He got to pass away peacefully. The only one who really got to do so. Of course, Ryan was useless for the most part. Of course, in their ending, he held him down by his arm, but like, if you're smart, why would you try and attack Homelander head on and tell him, hey, this lady's got a laser beam that'll, you know, that'll depower you? So it's like absolutely ridiculous. You know, why isn't there any kind of sneak attack coming? Why aren't you trying to harness the power and use it in a way that Homelander wouldn't expect? You know, anything else except for what we got. I think MM's was actually one of the funniest ones, where he basically, he gets away from his wife, he gets cucked by his wife by some guy who gets then killed by Homelander. He sends them off so that they're safe. I kind of completely forgot he had a family, and then he comes around and remarries his wife. And Ryan, of all people, is his best man, not Huey. Like, what the hell is going on there? And so for some reason, the general trend is just any show that starts out anywhere remotely good, it will end terribly. So apparently the lesson that we actually should be taking from this show is don't get your hopes up. And it's also interesting that as far as the plot goes, I feel like nothing happened. Like the status quo hasn't really been changed, even though they killed Homelander, which, again, the Deep dies, which I didn't think he should have died. And then Homelander dies, I don't think he should have died either. Both of these endings are very not satisfying at all. It's more of just like the spectacle of things. Because like, what is true justice for somebody like Homelander? Is it to get a quick death in front of everybody? I mean, somewhat humiliating or whatever. I mean, I think somebody who was born with powers, very much like a Griffith-esque type person, who that's like his entire character is, I have powers, I'm more powerful than you. I mean, what's better than just living the rest of his life a long, human life getting older, which we saw he was afraid of. You know, what would be worse than him just living a normal life as a normal guy, getting mocked and beat up by everybody who's normal, who was previously beneath him? And if you guys do end up watching this video, I mean, you guys are gonna be watching a bunch of different ones, so I'm gonna keep it short, but I just gotta apologize, man. I mean, if this is my generation's fault, I mean, this is just terrible. And it's crazy because, like, I grew up watching, like, the Lord of the Rings and Breaking Bad and all these, like, shows and movies that were just, like, very well written. I mean, No Country for Old Men is another one. I'm just shocked that people who grew up watching and reading this stuff, they don't grow up and try to emulate great writers. It's like they just purposely are trying to destroy this stuff. And they think it's funny too, which is very interesting. Then they'll go on Twitter or something and defend it. I don't know, man. I mean, Hollywood just has nothing left, honestly. Whenever I hear about an adaptation of anything, especially something that I like, I mean, that's a red flag immediately. I mean, you guys all saw the Halo show. That's another thing. I mean, they should be apologizing to us. I'm doing the legwork for these idiots, apologizing for my own generation. But yeah, man, for real, it's double embarrassing though, because although I don't really watch this stuff in general, I only watch The Boys because it was like a train wreck I couldn't look away from. The only reason people watch this stuff is because there's nothing else. I mean, it's like a drought out there. And for some reason, it's like and nobody can stick the landing. I don't know what it is really. And I know in general, writing endings are very difficult, but I mean, like Tolkien did it with Lord of the Rings. That was a great ending, tied everything up in a nice little bow. But then you have, I mean, I don't personally like it that much, but it is an ending at least that people like. With Breaking Bad, Dexter, people had an issue with it, but at least it was like somewhat of a little bit of an ending. And then, but yeah, it's been going down. I mean, like I said, the most notorious is obviously Game of Thrones. Irredeemably bad. And it sucks because everyone thinks, and I believe this, is that they were basically just using this entire show, The Boys, which was the main show that makes it popular. And they're trying to like set it up for all these little spin-offs and prequels and sequels and stuff. But it's very similar to Game of Thrones where I'm not excited. I haven't watched any of the spin-off stuff because it just doesn't really interest me. I mean, they ruined the main show. That was the main kind of plot line with all the cool stuff happening. If it sucks, why am I going to watch the prequel? Why am I going to watch the sequel? These people making these shows, it sucks too because, I mean, not necessarily The Boys, but at least Game of Thrones and stuff, a lot of them had like cool set design and props and all this other stuff. They were kind of ruining these people's work because a singular aspect is so bad, The Boys is. And so if you did watch it with me, I mean, I'd be curious to see what your guys' thoughts are, but yeah, I thought this was terrible. And again, I would just apologize for like a third or fourth time. This millennial writing just got to stop. I don't know what they got to do. I don't know how to stop it. Obviously, you got to fire these people, but these guys seem to kind of fail upward. I think we all know why. But I will say there were two positive characters that I actually liked, and it's funny because, again, it seems like everybody, including these characters, are written by the same people dialogue-wise, or the same ChatGPT, the same LLM, I guess. And that was basically Ashley, who plays like the vice president / president. I thought she was actually kind of funny. And then the Deep. That's about it. And I think everybody kind of agrees that the Deep is awesome. And of course, they had to give him like a terrible ending.
Needlessly cut down an ambush by some cowardly hoodlum.
There's no way for a man to die.
Yeah, you're right, Ed. A parachute not opening, that's a way to die. Getting caught in the gears of a combine. Having your nuts bit off by a Laplander. That's the way I want to go.
Again, he's not worthy of like any kind of redemption or anything. He can't be the one who kills Homelander. I mean, that'd be kind of funny that the guy who he shit on the entire show ends up being the one who kills him when he has no powers. I mean, or maybe he drowns him. I don't know. Basically anything other than what we got. Again, it's just, you can have your politics and put it in your stuff. Everybody does. I do myself. I just try to keep it on the DL.
Our sexual preferences are our own business.
There's just no subtlety at all in this stuff. Like, we get it. We know exactly what you believe, who you are, what you're thinking, who you're making fun of. You know, none of this stuff is going over our head. We're not media illiterate. As far as like media literacy, you need to have the abilities of like a fucking kindergartner, I guess. I don't know. This stuff is not subtle at all.
Killing is wrong and bad. There should be a new, stronger word for killing, like bad wrong or badong. Yes. Killing is badong. From this moment, I will stand for the opposite of killing. Gnadab.
So yeah, this is basically just disposable legacy here. You know, no one's gonna remember The Boys in a couple years. The same with Invincible. I mean, I heard that Invincible's having a lot of issues too. I haven't really been watching it, but I've heard people have been kind of pissed at that too. And kind of ironically, you know, I think people just want to see actual heroes now. I think even Marvel has been kind of like crapping on the kind of hero tropes, but I think in a really cynical world that we live in, I think actually going back and doing real hero stories, like You know, one of my favorite movies of all time as far as heroes is Iron Man, the first one with Robert Downey Jr. That one is competent, it has decent writing, but it's like the guy has an actual arc and he changes. He's not the same guy at the end as he was in the beginning. He's genuinely selfish and becomes heroic. And the subject matter is taken very seriously. That's the big one for me. And so, like, you can tell that the people making this show, they don't take comic books seriously, even though this is based off a comic book. I mean, like I said, Eric Kripke, the showrunner and creator, you can tell he doesn't give a shit about comics. He doesn't care about the source material at all. I mean, this, like I said, this is disposable. He'll be forgotten. This will be forgotten. And somebody's really got to call this guy out for plagiarism, because that ending with Homelander is 100% from MacGruber. I'll just show you.
Look, I will suck your dick. I will suck your fucking dick. I will do it. Just join my team. I'll suck your dick. You can fuck me or get fucked by me. You can watch me fuck something. Just point at something in the room and I'll fuck it for you. Come on, just tell me what you want me to fuck.
Jesus Christ, MacGruber.
Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
So I'll be sitting here waiting for somebody to cancel him. I mean, what's the punishment for plagiarism in Hollywood? I don't think there is one, so that's just the way Hollywood is. A lot of your favorite movies are literally just kind of modern, westernized rewrites of, I mean, funny enough, usually like a Japanese movie, which is hilarious. Something from the East. And the worst part is my generation is going to get rolled into this. That's kind of one of the things that pisses me off about the millennial writing is like, I'm not even participating in this. If I was a boomer right now, I'd be getting made fun of because of the real life stuff going on. As a millennial, I'm getting roped into this horrific writing. But yeah, man, I mean, the boys suck. I'm never going to rewatch this show. I'm not going to watch any of the sequels or anything. Easily top 5 worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. An absolute cringe fest, and it's funny because there actually are some great actors on there, especially, like the guy who played Soldier Boy from Supernatural. You have Billy Butcher, who, like, that guy's a really great actor. The guy who plays Homelander, who apparently is just playing himself, IRL. Like, they have good actors, but like, when they're not very good in the show, it's like, yeah, that's all the writers. So, by the way, yeah, let me know what you guys think, guys, and see you later. Cheers.